Hey guys, it's Jess again, and welcome to the new era of plants. We've had a little secret, and we've been working on a new build of plant. Very, very different to previous builds. No aroma, no Rika. The deck feels amazing. Now, I'm not gonna claim that I have an all-perfect build, and if you're here for a PNG, here it is. But why is there a traptrix vesticular? You'll have to watch and find out. But I promise, it's broken. This is Laura, and you've helped make the deck with me. What do you think?
I think it just fixes every single issue the deck had before, especially with things like Fua and Perulia, and I think the fact that those issues are now solved means that this deck can actually perform in this format.
This list has more removal, it plays around Perulia, it can beat Fua, it can do everything that old plant struggled with.
And still at the same time do the things that old plant used to do well.
It can still do all of the broken plant stuff and plays really well around K9 cards because normal summon Loci doesn't activate on hand or graveyard. That being said, do you want to get into the deck list?
Yeah, of course.
So this is the deck. We are also going to be doing some combos and, well, not full combos, but we're going to be doing some combo explanations after this to explain what the hell is actually going on. And we are going to be going quite in depth with this. It is a 60 card deck. Right, let's start off with our main engine, I guess, or the basic engine, Sunseed. So we are playing 2 Loci, 1 Sunseed Twin, 1 Sunvine Sowing, and then 3 Unexpected Die, 3 Primate Raw. These are your basic access to Loci cards. These are your 2 bricks, although they're not really bricks. Your 1 card Loci accesses the Ragnaraika engine, the Traptrix engine, the Mitsurugi engine. It accesses literally everything in the deck off of this 1 card. So you want to play a lot of it.
Something which I want to comment on as well is you could theoretically play Lord Reload, but this in general is enough access to Loci. Lord Reload also plays into Droll, which this deck can struggle to admittedly.
So the other thing is you don't really use your normal summon that often in your deck. Out of all of the starters, there are 15 starters that do not use a normal summon, and then there's 4 starters that do use a normal summon, and 3 that are sometimes normal, sometimes special. Although these do play a lot into Fua, because of the nature of the deck, you can choose to use these most of the time if you don't get food on your Habakiri. We'll go more into the combos and how these cards are actually used in a little bit. For our next engine, we have Ragnaraika. This is the best engine in the deck, in my opinion, as it helps bridge literally everything.
Just showing off with her QCRs.
I have to. So we've got 3 Evil Seed, we have 1 Samurai Beetle, 1 Lone Fire Blossom, Honorary Ragnaraika, 1 Ragnaraika Bloom, and 1 Ragnaraika Hunting Dance. Few things that I want to note is I call Lone Fire Honorary because Lone Fire is looped by Beetle. We do play Mantis in the extra deck to be able to add Hunting Dance, but my big thing is when you draw hard bricks, like for example, Incantation Talismandra, you can just banish it from your hand with Evil Seed and special summon Beetle, shuffling the Talismandra back into deck. You can also discard Habakiri or any of the Mitsurugi reptiles to special summon Evil Seed because plant, insect, or reptile.
This engine is also how you play nice around Fua as well, because if you get food on like your Habakiri, you can just special this, searching this. That is very nice into Fua as well.
Also, you can end up linking off a lot of your board into Mantis. Mantis search the Hunting Dance, so you end on all of your like Purification, everything like that with your Mitsurugi engine and this. Also, the attack boost makes Habakiri they basically everything they control loses 1400 is great. As for our other plant monsters, we play a singular copy of Rika Princess.
Rika is dead. I'm telling you, Rika is dead.
Why do we play Rika Princess?
So level 4, it's an extender.
So yeah, it is literally just a level 4 extender that we can search with Jasmine.
It helps you set up Strenna, it gets you the extra interrupt, and that is kind of just it, right?
Yeah, it basically just means that if you summon Strenna with Princess Engrave, it is still 2 interrupts, and it's a level 4 extender. you can't really complain. Then, we mentioned before, Incantation, Palismandra. You summon this from deck with either Lone Fire Blossom that you loop with the Ragnaraikas, or Aromatherapy Jasmine. And when this is summoned, it adds Habakiri.
And I think people think that this is a lot more vulnerable than like it actually is, because even if it gets Ash Blossomed or Purged, you can still use the Ragnarika cards in graveyard to bounce it back to deck, just so that you're not extra deck locked.
Yeah, people are really afraid of the extra deck lock with this card, but if you're using any kind of Ragnarika card first, which you are in all of our standard combo lines, as Laura said, you can just remove it. Now, for our other plant, we have a traptrix Vesicular.
I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I say it.
And we're playing one Gravedigger's Trap Hole. I'm not going to fully explain this now, but this little package gets you, well, playing Gravediggers gives you Rafflesia protection, because Rafflesia is a plant rank 4, and Vesicular is also a plant extender, and it means you can bridge between the Mitsurugi engine and your plant engine, aka Jasmine, with one rank 4, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. It just turns out this is the best Traptrix card, essentially, that you want to add off of Pingu, and then this is the best Trap Hole.
We did try one of the other ones.
Yes.
Which one is it?
Arachnicamper.
Yeah, we tried Arachnicamper, but Vesicular is better.
Yes, because it's a plant and you can use it to dance manipulate levels. That is the reason why Vesicular is better.
It does have to send a trap card, but you are if you are sending, you're either going to normal summon it or special it from hand by sending Purification to grave, and then Purification can then act as a hand trap dodge and interruption during your opponent's turn.
And then Sarah can trigger and get this, and it's insanely broken.
Yeah, because you then get this as an extra interrupt. So your extender and your bridge between your engines also nets interruption. But we'll get into this a bit more later, because there's a couple other cool things to note. As for our Mitsurugi engine, we play 3 Habakiri, 1 Murakuma, 1 Futsu. This is optional. I've been testing it out. It's still pretty good, but I'm likely going to cut this for another hand trap.
Yeah, I've not been playing this in my list.
And then we've got 1 Aramasa, 1 Saji, 1 Kusanagi, 1 Nightsword. We still play Nightsword because we are using a few rank 4s. We're playing, I call it Pingu.
Pinguicula.
I call it Pingu.
Yes.
I'm playing Pingu to bridge. We're playing Pingu to bridge. We're playing Rafflesia as hand trap protection. And we are still playing Strenna, so rank 4s are pretty important. Nightsword is nice. Also, because these are reptiles, you can reborn all of these with Ragnaraika Beetle. So if you're in a grind game, you can just reborn Kusanagi from grave with your Ragnaraika engine, then add back your Mitsu engine and keep going.
It just makes the Ragnarika engine so good in the grind game.
Like, one thing that this also does fix, even outside of removal and through Fuwa and through Perulia, is this improves Plant's grind game so much more than just adding a Mitsurugi engine, because it allows your Ragnarika engine to also extend in the grind.
Yeah. Like, instead, our end board now through Fuwa is Mitsurugi end board, versus in the old deck, it just used to be Mudan, Konkon, Sheet Pass.
And you get Ragnaraikas as well.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of spells, this is quite self-explanatory. 3 pre-prep, 3 praz, 1 mirror for that pre-prep, 1 ritual, and purification. I know purification is normally seen as win more, but it's actually an extender in our deck because we send it with the Sulaka. Also, you can just end on it. Through Fuwa, you can just end on it and it's perfectly fine. You don't always send it either. You can sometimes you already have the plant, so you just keep it and just make sure I'm more bigger.
And if you start with Habakiri, there is literally no place they can imperm because Pingu and Sarah are unaffected by trap cards. The first place they can really imperm is Jasmine, and this helps us avoid that imperm on Jasmine because it's engraved by that point.
Yeah, the fact that it's also an imperm dodge on Jasmine has come up in matches already. Okay, and then we are at the rest of the non-engine. 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Droll, 3 Fuwa. Wait, that's a Perulia. 2 Perulia, 3 Nibiru, 2 Delta, 1 Gamma, 1 Driver, 3 Imperm.
All of this is kind of just can change. Like, we would play 3 Perulia, but we don't have the money to get another Perulia. Deltas, this is just what has been nice and what we have access to.
format dependent, event dependent. Your non-engine can change depending on the event. This is just what we're testing with right now. The only thing I'd say is Gamma is absurdly strong in this deck because you do a lot of things like Fuwa baits, droll baits, because you're playing pre-prep Habakiri, because you're playing Unexpected Die, Primate Roar. Drawing Gamma going first feels like an FTK.
And it also just gets you the bodies that you can like tribute off of Jasmine and stuff, and it's, yeah.
It also gives you materials for Mantis Monk.
Yes.
And all the ragnaraika links, which are generic. Right, as for the extra deck, the extra deck is essentially 14 cards right now. There is a 15th, but we will explain. We have Pingicula, we have Rafflesia, and we have Sarah for our traptrix. Rafflesia does insulate the board. We do side a second trap hole as well. And then Pingicula, Sarah are the combo. And Pingicula is just a bridge. Also, really cool, I learned this today because of you. This is unaffected by monster effects of types that are underneath it, which is really good at Mitsurugi mirror matches. Because if you overlay into this with a Saji, or with a Kusanagi, or with a Night Sword Serpent, this cannot be destroyed by Murakumo. As for our standard planets, we play 2 Aromaseraphy Jasmine. 2 does still come up, especially in life gain combos and with twin reborn lines. 1 Dryas, 1 Healer, 1 Thrasher. This is the optional card. The 2 other cards I've tested are Ragnaraika Chain Coils, which is quite nice into Vanquish Shoal and K9 format, or Ragnaraika Stag Sovereign, which is quite nice at removing just bits and random bodies from your field just to link into something. So the other thing with Thrasher is it is nice for OTKs, but the reason I'm currently playing Thrasher is because when you go into a lot of the combos through hand traps, your line is normally to summon a Ragnaraika, get it into grave, bounce back the healer, summon healer again. But through hand traps, that doesn't always happen. So having the Thrasher as an extra Sunvine name that you can summon first actually helps a lot when you can't necessarily bounce back the healer.
Yeah, you're basically just using Thrasher as a name rather than a OTK tool.
But you are playing Melius, we are playing Melius, so I have done OTK with. You can still do your old school double Thrasher attack OTK if you really want. Anyway, we play 1 Melius for life gain combos and OTK. 1 Bengal Lancer, it bounces stuff. 1 Dance Peon. This card is incredibly important. Dance Peon changes anything that it points to, as long as you target a planting grave. You're not playing this to mill. I normally do not mill cards when I summon this. You are playing it for the level manipulation to make rank 4s.
Yeah, this card is basically at the heart of every single combo in this deck now.
So I'd recommend unless you have to, I would almost never mill with this card though, because you don't want to be milling things like prayers or grind game cards that you might need. And then for the Ragnaraikas, we are just playing 1 Skeletal Soldier and 1 Mantis. Quite often, although Mantis is not a plant, if you start with Ragnaraika Engine or you start even with Pingicula, quite often you'll have so many bodies on your field, you can just make Mantis before you use Sowing. Because Sowing is the card that locks you out of plants, locks you into plants from extra deck.
I think it's also worth mentioning that these 2 cards are insane grind game pieces. The fact they can just summon back like whenever you link them off, and they're also really good combo pieces as well.
Like especially coming back under Bloom, this is immediately 26, this is immediately 19, and they put back names into deck.
Yeah, so like the incantation.
They put back the incantation, they also put back Habakiri, Murakumo. If you're going to resummon them with Ritual, you need a target in deck. These are your best friends.
And also a lot of these in combos, you put back the healer, so that you can use the healer again.
And our final 2 cards are 1 Rika Queen Strenna and 1 Hyperiton. No Teardrop. There is no reason to play Teardrop, because in every situation that you tribute Strenna, you always want Hyperiton because it's better, and we don't play Snowdrop or any plant level 8 to manipulate so Teardrop can use on both players' turn, so it really just isn't that good. You just always use Hyperiton.
Yeah, in Hyperiton, in every single situation, Hyperiton is better. I know some of you are going to be sad that there's no Teardrop, but it's just the way it is.
So, as for side deck, I'm not going to give you a conclusive side deck because it does very much depend on what your non-engine is. But there's a couple things I do want to note. I have this here just like as a, yeah, you can play Chain Coils reminder. The big one I want to mention is Cactus Bouncer. I said this before, but 15 of your starters do not normal summon. That means that your normal summon is 90% of the time open for this guy. You can just summon Cactus Bouncer and your opponent can't play. You have Bloom, you have Habakiri, reducing their monster's attack. You can very easily just get to Purification plus Cactus Bouncer, which is just win the game.
Like, even your extenders don't normal summon, so through multiple hand traps, you can still get to this and then just end up normal summoning it.
You can play the Jasmine to get the additional normal summon, but this is pretty inconvenient to get to. Personally, I am just siding Cactus Bouncer right now. So outside of these, what other side deck options do we have? We have Artifact Lancia.
The mandatory 3 of.
We have, we've got a Duster, we've got some Thrusts, we've got some generic Bestials, some Bells, we've got Called by Talents.
As you can tell, we have really thought about this side deck.
The thing is, because we are not preparing for a major tournament right now, there's no need to come up with a very specific side deck. This is a side deck that I took to locals. We also have a second copy of a Trap Hole. I played Gravediggers, or 2 copies post side. But in hindsight, I do think having a Trap Hole Nightmare as well, so you have a bit more versatility, at least on a local level. That being said though, that is the detailed deck list. Do you have anything to say before we move on to actual concepts?
I think the one thing which I want to mention about this is the reason why you play a second copy of a Trap Hole is so that if you end up using Rafflesia, you can still do the Sarah combo to get another one. Or if you go through the Sarah combo, you can then still end on Rafflesia and it still work.
The other thing is literally just if you end up using Rafflesia, because quite often you can, if you open Habakiri, or my favorite one is if you open Prayers plus Ritual, and I have Plant in hand as well. I know it's rare, but you can make Rafflesia plus Murakumo before you actually search anything, which means you can make Rafflesia and be immune to droll.
Yeah, it came with the other day. I'm pretty sure I had Ash plus droll plus Imperm.
And I was able to combo through it for free because of Rafflesia.
Yeah, you made the early Rafflesia and it was... I looked at my hand, I was like, I 100% win this. I lost. Because this deck is insane.
Like, this deck can play through end boards. The only thing I have to say about it is incredibly difficult. This is maybe the hardest deck I have ever tried to build, and I'm not exaggerating. But let's prove it. Let's get into the concepts. So instead of doing combos, I'm gonna talk more about concepts, which is basically a combo. I do not have a full, optimal, perfect combo to show you because we're still working on it. This deck is very new and is one of the hardest decks I have ever played. So, I'm going to show you what you should roughly do with Loci, or what you should roughly do to play the deck. In this case, I'm going to show Loci, or Unexpected Die, depending on your preference. This is one of the basic starters, and it gets you into every engine in the deck. So, let's start with Die, we summon Loci. We link 1, we go into a Dryas, and use the effect to search out a Sunvine Sowing. Then we activate Sowing, just gonna put a little field center there, and summon Twin. Chainlink 1, Twin, chainlink 2, Dryas. We're gonna summon out Healer, and we're gonna then summon back the Loci, and use Healer's effect again. Obviously, if you play Thrasher, you can summon Thrasher here, but I'm gonna show you as if we're playing Chain Coils instead, just in case you don't play the Thrasher. Now, from here, we're just gonna go link the Twin plus the Dryas off into an Aromatherapy Jasmine, and then we're gonna activate Effect of Jasmine, tributing the Loci to grab our Lonefire Blossom. Then we'll use the effect of Lonefire, tributing itself to summon Evil Seed, and Evil Seed's effect to search. Now, here we're gonna be searching Ragnaraika, Samurai Beetle, and Bloom. But if you have let's say a second Evil Seed in hand, maybe another Loci, or something that you want to put back in deck, you can just add Hunting Dance plus Samurai Beetle instead, banish that reptile plant from your hand, and just special the beetle by shuffling it back. That's the main way that you get rid of things like Talismandra or dead cards in your hand out of your hand. It's also the only way to search hunting dance in this combo because we got locked at the very start by Sunvine Sowing, so we can't summon Mantis. But in this case, we don't have any extra cards in hand, so we're going to add Bloom, and we're going to add Beetle, and banish our Beetle. We'll then use Bloom, use its effect to reborn the Beetle, and link into Skeletal Soldier. We will then activate the effect of Beetle Engrave, using Beetle to reborn back that Lone Fire. Now, here we're going to go effect of Skeletal Soldier to re-reborn our Evil Seed, and then link them both off into a Melius, and then use the effect of Melius to re-reborn Loci. Now, our concept here is we're going to be using the Skeletal Soldier to bounce the healer, but we don't do that yet. And here's why. We're going to be summoning Incantation Talismandra from deck with the Lone Fire. If our opponent activates Ash Blossom or Purge on that Talismandra, we get locked out of the extra deck. And that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But if you keep that Skeletal Soldier in grave and don't use the effect to bounce, you can just bounce that Talismandra back into deck and you can keep comboing as far as you want. It's just a little bit safer to save this effect until afterwards, just in case your opponent tries to throw you that curveball. So we'll use Lone Fire Blossom, tributing itself, summoning the Talismandra, and use Talismandra to search out Habakiri. We will then activate Habakiri in hand, summoning a Sagi from deck, and tributing the Talismandra. Sagi will then activate, adding us Mitsurugi Ritual. Here, now we can go activate effect of Skeletal Soldier, bouncing back the healer to summon it, and then link one with our Loci, back into that healer, using the effect to gain 900, and then Jasmine search the Rika Princess. This then lets us use Rika Princess in hand to summon it, and gives us our first rank 4. You can go for either here. Personally, I'm going to go for Strenna, and I'm going to detach from that Strenna to add back the Lone Fire Blossom. Why is this good? Because if we started with Unexpected Die or Primate Roar, we still have a normal summon. Also, we now do have the Rika Princess Negate live. From here, there are a couple of different things you can do with your bodies. Really depends, because from here, there are a couple of different routes that we're not sure what the de facto best one is. Personally, there are a couple of Dance Peon lines that I think are quite valuable here, because Dance Peon being able to level manipulate a Habakiri on field is actually kind of nice. So for example's sake, we'll go these guys into a Dance Peon, and we're not going to use the effect. Then let's activate Mitsurugi Ritual to ritual summon from our hand the Habakiri, tributing Night Sword Serpent and Kusanagi, both of which will trigger, summoning back the Night Sword and adding the ritual back to hand. Now we'll go Melius plus Healer into a copy of Bengalancer, and we'll activate Ritual. We will tribute the Habakiri to summon a Murakuma, and use the graveyard effect of Habakiri, summoning it back out, and let's grab a Mitsurugi Praz. Then we can go Dance Peon to manipulate the level, re-overlay for a Traptrix Rafflesia, and we now have Praz set up plus all of this on field. Honestly, thinking about it right now, I think we could actually do better. We could definitely do better, because we did end up having to overlay with the Habakiri. I think there is probably a way I could have used my materials a little bit more efficiently, but you get the point on how to bridge. That's the point of this. This is a concept on how to bridge, because bear in mind, in this situation, we still haven't used Prez. We still haven't we haven't normal summoned in this case. There is plays we could do where we normal Lone Fire, manipulate the Lone Fire. There is so many other options. I'm happy with what I've shown here, and I want to go on for starting with Mitsurugi Engine. How do we turn Mitsurugi Engine into plants? Okay, this time we are going to start with just a Habakiri, and I'm going to show you guys how we bridge from our reptile engine into our plant engine, because personally I think this is the coolest thing about the deck by far. This is the thing that I'm most excited about, and I think where the big difference between modern plant and old plant really is. I'm also going to discuss a lot of the options along the way because there are a ton of little different things we can do. So, start off with Habakiri. Activate Habakiri to tribute from deck. I guess unsurprisingly, we are going to tribute a copy of Saji. We'll use the effect of Saji Engrave, adding Mitsurugi Ritual from our deck to our hand, if I can find it. There we go, very top of the deck. We'll then activate Mitsurugi Ritual to summon from hand, summoning the Habakiri, tributing off a Kusanagi, and Night Sword Serpent. We'll go Chainlink 1 Kusanagi, Chainlink 2 Night Sword, summoning the Night Sword, and adding back Mitsurugi Ritual. We'll then activate Mitsurugi Ritual, tributing the Habakiri, summoning Murakumo, and activate the effect of Habakiri, summoning it back, adding Mitsurugi Prayers. Now, it is very important here that we summon this Habakiri to the far zone, or one of the two far zones, as we're going to want to keep our Murakumo in rotation, so we're going to be tributing off the Murakumo with Jasmine, and we're going to be keeping Habakiri on field so that we can manipulate its levels with Sylvan Dance Peon to make it a level 4, which will allow us to overlay for either Strenna or Rafflesia later in the combo. So we want to keep this in the far zone. So from here, we're going to go Mitsurugi Prez, tributing that Murakumo, adding an Aramasa from our deck to our hand, and re-reborning back a Saji from our graveyard. We're then going to activate the effect of Murakumo Engrave, reborning it back to a Jasmine zone, and adding Purification to our hand. Now, Purification might seem a little bit odd here, but just stick with me. We're then going to overlay Night Sword and Saji into our Traptrix Pingicula and use the effect, searching out Traptrix Vesicular. Now, you have two different options here. You can either normal summon Vesicular and then link 2 into Jasmine, or my preference, which saves your normal summon, is set Mitsurugi Great Purification, link 1 with your Pingicula into Traptrix Sarah, and activate Vesiculo in hand, sending Purification to grave to special summon itself. We can then activate effect of Traptrix Sarah to set a trap hole from our deck. We're going to go ahead and set Gravediggers here. And now we link 2 into our first Aromatherapy Jasmine. Something cool here that I want to note is this combo so far has been completely immune to infinite impermanence. Pingicula, Sarah, all of our Traptrix line are immune to trap cards, and there has been no real field effects that have been of any impact. And if we activate the effect of Jasmine, tributing Murakumo's cost, we have Purification Engrave. So if our opponent activates an effect failure or an infinite impermanence, we just chain Purification to get rid of the Jasmine and it still resolves. But our combo from here is Jasmine Tribute Murakumo, summoning Lone Fire Blossom from our deck. And we're going to activate Lone Fire Blossom, tributing itself immediately to summon Evil Seed. Evil Seed will then activate, grabbing us Ragnaraika Bloom, and Ragnaraika Samurai Beetle to our hand. Then we have to banish a card from our hand, and we are going to choose to banish Aramasa. We'll then use the effect of Samurai Beetle in our hand to special summon itself by putting the Aramasa back to the bottom of our deck. And we will go Beetle plus Jasmine into Mantis. We'll use the effect of Beetle Engrave to re-reborn back Lone Fire Blossom. And use Mantis, we're going to banish Beetle and Night Sword Serpent from our graveyard to add a Ragnaraika Hunting Dance from our deck to our hand, giving us another interrupt pretty early on. So, there's actually two things you can do here. If you're playing Chain Coils, it changes the combo very slightly. So if I just go in here and grab my Ragnaraika Chain Coils so I can show you guys, if you're not playing Chain Coils, then you just go Link 2 into Skeletal Soldier, then effect of Lone Fire, tribute the Skeletal Soldier to summon Sunseed Genius Loci from deck. If you choose to play Chain Coils instead, you go Evil Seed plus Mantis Monk into Chain Coils, activate Ragnaraika Bloom. We're going to use Bloom to re-reborn back that Evil Seed, and then we link into Skeletal Soldier. Because we don't actually need the Bloom Reborn in this combo, we get so much advantage anyway. Regardless though, we end up at this point, whether you go through Chain Coils or not, we have Habakiri, Lone Fire, and Skeletal Soldier. From here, we're going to go Lone Fire effect, tributing off Skeletal Soldier, summoning Lone Fire Blossom, summoning Sunseed Genius Loci, from deck. We link one into Sunavalon Dryas. We can then activate Sunavalon Dryas effect, grabbing us our Sunvine Sowing, which we are going to immediately activate from hand. Summoning Sunseed Twin from deck. This is the old tried and true plant line. We're going to go Chainlink 1, Sunseed Twin, Chainlink 2 Sunavalon Dryas, summoning Healer, and then re-reborning Sunseed Genius Loci. We'll use Healer to gain 300 life, and then big thing to note is we have, depending if you play Chain Coils or not, either 2 or 3 Ragnaraikas in your late grave live to bounce. We're going to activate Skeletal Soldier here to bounce this Sunvine Healer back to extra deck and summon itself. And then we're going to go Sunseed Twin plus Sunavalon Dryas into our second copy of Aromaseraphy Jasmine. We'll then use the effect of Skeletal Soldier, re-reborn back our Evil Seed once again, and link the Skeletal Soldier plus the Loci into Sunavalon Melius, which will re-reborn the Loci. Now, because we recycled the healer, we're going to link one with that Loci, back into the healer, use the effect, target Melius, gain 900 life, and then activate the effect of Jasmine, allowing us to search our last Plant Engine interrupt, which is Rika Princess. Do note though, we haven't used our normal summon at this point, so you could search something like Cactus Bouncer Post Side, or any other Plant Engine that you choose to play, because the world is your oyster at this point. This deck gains so much advantage, you can do whatever the hell you want. From here, we're going to go Sunvine Healer plus Aromaseraphy Jasmine off into Sylvan Dance Peon. And we're going to not use the effect on summon, but we will use Dance Peon's effect, targeting our Traptrix monster in grave, making both of these level 4s. We'll then activate Princess to special, specialing the Princess, and we can overlay for Strenna. We'll activate Strenna, detaching our Princess's cost, add back our Traptrix monster, or you can link off the Lone Fire instead of the healer, and then add back Lone Fire if you so wish. And then you could normal summon the Lone Fire, tribute it for Rose Whip, but we're just going to add back our Traptrix monster for now. We're then going to use our normal summon that we still haven't used, normal summon our Vesiculo, and we're going to overlay for another rank 4 in Rafflesia. Granted, in this case, in my main deck, I only play one Trap Hole, so Rafflesia is only really useful if you play more. But we do post side, so I think the example still stands. Then we're going to go Sunavalon Melius plus Dance Peon into our Bengal Lance of the Resurgent. And now, depending on what you did earlier on, if you play Chain Coils, we now have both Mantis and Chain Coils to reborn. Worst case scenario, you don't play Chain Coils, you just bounce that Lone Fire back. Or Healer, if you linked off the Lone Fire and you still have the Healer on board, you just bounce the Healer to summon back your Mantis from grave, which is another link type to facilitate Hunting Dance. Or, if you play Chain Coils, you'd keep the Mantis in grave, bounce that Lone Fire for the Chain Coils, you still get the additional effect from Hunting Dance, and you get the effect of Chain Coils. Also, bear in mind here, we do have Purification and Murakumo in grave. So on top of all of this that's available to us, and Princess, and the Hyperiton off the Strenna, we also have access to Murakumo board nuke and the negate from Murakumo. This is absurd amounts of advantage, and there are definitely other ways that you can use this advantage to generate other end boards and facilitate different combos. I'm a huge fan of this and how much it offers. Personally, the more I've recorded this video and more I've tested the deck, I've actually liked chain coils more and more. So I think for now I probably will be ending on chain coils, but regardless, that is how you bridge from just a Habakiri into literally everything. Thank you, Traptrix Pingu. From here, let's go test a hand, talk through my thought processes on how we play it, and try and provide a little bit more insight into the deck. Right, let's just draw a hand and start comboing, see where we get to, and go through my thought processes. I do want to note, and say once again, I guess, this is probably the most difficult version of Plant I have made, and the list definitely isn't perfect. Neither is my play with the deck. I'm looking forward to see where it goes, how the list changes. Like, I'm already now playing chain coils because I think the card is actually really, really good and you can really easily integrate it into your combos. Anyway, let's go. 5 cards. Habakiri, good start. Prez, incredible start. I get to show something really cool here. Parulia, Primate Roar, and Nibiru. These are the kinds of hands we love to see because we have Primate Roar, which is for Loci combo, and this hand is going to be immune to droll, which I also think is really fucking cool. So, we're going to go draw phase, activate Mitsurugi Prez, tributing Habakiri's cost. We're going to chain Primate Roar to it. That is going to give us Sunseed Genius Loci from deck, and then Prez is going to resolve, adding and specialing Aramasa. We'll then go chainlink 1 Habakiri, chainlink 2 Aramasa, adding Mitsurugi Ritual with the Habakiri, and adding Murakumo with the Aramasa. Now our Loci is just going to sit there for a minute, all sad and alone, but that's okay. We're going to go Mitsu Ritual. We're going to special the Murakumo from our hand. We'll just summon it into a far zone for now. And we're going to tribute Night Sword Serpent along with Kusanagi from our deck. We'll then go chainlink 1 Kusanagi, target ritual, chainlink 2 Night Sword Serpent, Night Sword Reborn, and we add back ritual to our hand. Now, we are on 4th summon. So, what do we do for our 5th summon? We overlay for Rafflesia. So, note that we have not added from our deck to our hand outside of the draw phase, so we are immune to droll because we have Rafflesia to negate droll. We also have Rafflesia to negate Nibiru. And if there's any kind of imperm on Dryas, we also have Murakumo to force a discard. These are the hands that are completely insane. From here, I'm not even going to use Mitsu Ritual initially, because I'm just going to start by getting my Sunseed engine started. We're going to link 1 into Dryas and use the effect. Searching out, did I go past it? No, I didn't. We're going to add a Sunvine Sowing from deck to hand. Our only target for the Dryas. I could here go activate Ritual, summon Futsu. The only reason to start trying to do ritual plays first is if I'm going to try and make either access to chain coils or access to Mentis. Although in this case, I don't think I am, but I'm fine making that. Yeah, we don't get as many interrupts, but I think it is worth it for the early Rafflesia. If we didn't go for Rafflesia, yeah, we would have had extra bodies to be able to go into the Mantis. I just think it's worth having the protection instead. If you know you're against a player who isn't playing hand traps, you could probably do a Mantis line first, before going into Sunavalon Dryas. So, from here, we're going to go Sowing. Going to get Twin from deck, and we're going to use Chainlink 1 Twin, Chainlink 2 Dryas, going Sunvine Healer, and Reborn back Loci. Sunvine Healer effect to gain 300 life. We will go Twin plus Dryas into Jasmine. We could go Jasmine here and just tribute off the Murakumo, which I think is quite interesting. But we're guaranteed to tribute it anyway with the ritual, so I'll just tribute the Loci for now. And we're going to grab that Lone Fire Blossom, because Lone Fire is an incredible bridge in this deck. We'll summon Lone Fire and use the effect of Lone Fire, tributing itself off for Evil Seed. Evil Seed effect can then be activated. Let's grab... So it doesn't look like we're going to get to Hunting Dance in this game, which is a slight bit annoying. It's more of an inconvenience than anything though. We're doing this all protected. I don't mind ending a little bit less as a result. Okay, let me find my cards. Bloom. Where's that Beetle gone? Beetle. Actually, if I think about it for a second, there is a world we don't go for Beetle. We haven't used Habakiri in hand or Saji yet, which is going to get us to the prayers plus end on Purification. So yeah, I'm fine with not ending on Hunting Dance here. I'm going to add these two, and then we're going to banish the Samurai Beetle from hand. So, next up, we still want to get access to our Jasmine Search. That's one of our next big steps. So, we'll go Bloom. We'll go Bloom to Reborn. Bloom's going to reborn back that Beetle. We'll go Beetle plus Evil Seed into... Yeah, we'll go into our Skeletal Soldier. Gonna use the effect of Beetle to reborn Lone Fire. I am going to use the effect of Lone Fire, tributing itself. Although, I'm not going to go for Princess here. I am going to go for my traptrix monster. Because not only does this set up quite an early level 4 plant in grave for Dance Peon, but this does have a grave effect to banish it from grave to reset a trap hole. So if I sense something with Rafflesia, in the grind game I can reset that trap hole, which is kinda neat. From here we're going to be aiming to get into... I think we've actually got too many extenders. This is an issue that does come up with the deck quite a bit. So we're not going to use Skeletal Soldier effect just yet. We're just going to link into Melius, use the effect of Melius, reborn Loci. Then activate Skeletal Soldier, bouncing back the healer, summoning Skeletal Soldier, link one with Loci, into healer again. Healer target Melius, gain 900. Effect of Jasmine, we're going to search Princess from deck to hand. There is something else I want to note here. If we were post side, we would literally just go, instead of summoning the Traptrix monster from deck, we would have summoned Princess from deck, and then the Jasmine search here would be searching Cactus Bouncer. Because we still have not normal summoned, which, once again, is insane. We still haven't normal summoned. We have so many options. We'll go Healer plus Jasmine for now. I'm gonna make Dance Peon. We're gonna start freeing up some zones. And then I'm gonna go Mitsurugi Ritual, getting rid of our Murakumo to summon out Futsu. Murakumo effect will activate. We're gonna summon it. And what do we want to search off? Because remember, we haven't used Saji or Habakiri yet. I think this is just an add Habakiri line. If we just force ourselves to link everything off here, go into a Bengal Answer, activate Habakiri in hand, summoning Saji from deck, tributing off the Futsu, chainlink 1, chainlink 2, that gets us access to our prayers and our purification, and then we reborn the Futsu, effect of Princess in hand to special, overlay them both for a Strenna, Strenna effect attach Princess, add back Lone Fire Blossom to hand, and then we have Purification plus Prayer set, and we have 4 cards in hand, including 2 hand traps, Princess Engrave, Murakumo setup, Rafflesia, which was protecting our entire combo. Our entire combo was protected. Strenna, which will then float. Bengal Answer, Futsu full reborn. I'm not mad at this. Because bear in mind, if we played Rose Whip, we still haven't used our normal summon. This was all without normal summoning. I could just go, okay, normal Lone Fire, effect, summon Rose Whip from deck. Or normal summon Cactus Bouncer if we were playing that, because we didn't normal summon. This is bonkers. This feels absurd. But yeah, that is my thought process behind going through a combo. I hope you guys see the potential as much as I do. And that is it for the video. I am really proud of this deck. Despite how difficult it is, and believe me, it has been a challenge, as you can probably see from the video, but it is so much fun, and I think this deck has a ton of potential. Do you have any closing thoughts on the deck?
I'm honestly just more excited to see where people take it, because realistically we're only 2 people. We can't figure out everything that is correct or perfect with it, especially since it's only been like a week or so since we have like really started with this concept. But yeah, I'm honestly try and do whatever the hell you can with it. I'm really looking forward to see it.
Yeah, it's one of those where there is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be innovation from across the community with this deck.
Yeah, also, you can probably expect a combo guide once we have refined everything out. Like, we're not going to release one until we know exactly what we want with this deck.
So, especially in terms of combo guide, give it a couple weeks to months, but as you said, we will look to release a video when everything is refined. I'm not going to release anything that's half-assed. I could have thrown together a couple of combos now, but I would rather label them as concepts because we don't actually know what's fully optimal yet. It is too early. And I actually think this deck could be very good going into future formats. For example, Chain Coils, very good card for future formats.
Yeah, Chain Coils is broken.
Everything's said and done now. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.